If you've ever wondered how proxy works, or you've heard the word proxies and you do not understand how they work, well, today is your lucky day. Today, I'm going to be putting you through what proxy is, how to use it with an anti-detect browser, where to get your proxies from, and so many more about proxies. Alright, so firstly, you have to look at proxy like a middleman. So, one of the first things you would see proxy look like is that proxy is like a middleman. So your device, instead of your device connecting to the websites directly, is going to be connecting to a proxy. So a proxy is a middleman server. So instead of your device talking directly to a website, it's going to talk to the proxy first. So when it talks to the proxy is now going to talk to the website. So the website is only going to be seeing your proxy IP address. It is not going to be seeing your own original website. So it's like you are hiding your IP address and using that instead of the proxy, instead of your own. You're using the proxy's IP address instead of your own IP address. All right, and then there are different type of proxies. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the residential and the ISP proxy. Those are the common ones that I use the most. A residential proxy, it uses an actual IP address. It's like someone in the UK is using the IP address of someone in Brazil. So it's like someone's proper IP address. That's why it's called residential. It's like you're using your neighbor's Wi-Fi. When you use your neighbor's Wi-Fi, your IP address it's going to be reading that you are using your neighbor's IP address. So it's going to look like a normal proper website IP address. Then they are called ISP. ISP is static. ISP is a static proxy. It's hosted on servers and is registered under internet providers. It's that's a very good trust. It has a very good trust bandwidth. The speed is better, but they are different. So I'm going to talk about the difference between both of them. So for ISP, like I said before, for residential rather, like I said, it uses real home ISP. It is broad. It is broad in the sense that it is you can use it for different countries, different cities. You're going to see it. I'm going to show you platforms that use that you can get residential from, and you can see how broad you can get from different countries, different cities, different locations. And it is the highest trust. It's very hard to detect, and it's hard to detect because it's using like a real person's IP address. That's why it's very hard to detect. But it is slower, but then it always rotates. So it's IP, it's rotating, it's not sticky. There's a difference between sticky and rotating proxy. And then it is priced by gigabytes. It's priced by gigabyte. I'm also going to show you that. So it's like you're recharging your data. So if you get 2 gig can take you to any part of the world, rotating any part of the world. The moment your 2 gig finishes or your subscription finishes per month, you have to renew again. But for ISP, it is priced by IP. That means if I get an IP for London, UK, London, I get that IP throughout the month. I can access London throughout the month with that single IP. It is smaller. It's a smaller IP pool. You can't get every region with static proxy. You can't get every region. You can only get few particular locations with IP proxy. And it stays fixed. It's not rotating, so that's sticky. It's not rotating like residential proxy, and it's faster than the residential proxy. Like I said, it's also registered to a real ISP. That means it's registered to an internet service provider. Alright, so I'm going to show you some of the ones that I use regularly. The platforms I use the most when when I want to get my proxies. So I'm going to start with IP Royale. It's one of the most common ones that everyone uses. I use IP Royale a lot when I want to get my proxies. Alright, so I use IP Royale a lot when I want to get my proxy. Most times I use IP Royale and then I use NodeM. Now, the reason why I use Royale, I use Royale mainly to get my um, ISP, that's my sticky proxy. They also have residential, and if you see here, residential is a plan. So if I go to, and if you see here, residential is a plan. So if I go to buy now for residential, you can see from here it's showing from, let me take it back so you can see it. So you can see that the residential, this is interesting. Okay, so you can see residential has from $1.75 per gigabyte. Remember I said that it is per gigabyte, and then the ISP has from 2.04 per proxy, which means that you have the option of choosing from residential to the ISP. It's going to give you the ISP is going to be for 1 month, and this is going to be per. Alright, so this is my NodeM dashboard. I'm going to attach the link for each of the platforms that I use in the description, but this is my NodeM dashboard. You can see I am using residential on NodeM, and you can see I have 267 megabyte left. So basically what it means is that once I can move to I can get different platforms. Okay, so residential, you can see that I can get any country I want. Once I move to Afghanistan, I can pick up Kabul, just get proxy from anywhere in the world. You can see I have so many options to speak from literally every country in the world. I can pick from there to get a residential proxy. It's not the same for an ISP proxy. An ISP proxy, the locations are minimal. So you can see for NodeM, they have just few locations for this, but I use Royale for ISP because Royale seems to have more locations covered. Okay, they seem to have more locations covered than most of the other platforms. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I actually buy my proxy on Royale. Okay, so now I want to show you what we call anti-detect browsers. But before I start showing you the types of anti-detect browsers, I'll tell you what they are. So basically, anti-detect browsers are specialized browsers, and what they are designed to do is to make you look like you're coming from a different unique device. Alright, so it's called a different fingerprints, and it's not just different IP. We're going to use the IP with the anti-detect browser. But now, what the anti-detect browser does is that it makes you have a new fingerprints. So beyond just your IP address, there are ways that people can track you. People can know the type of device you are using. If you're using Windows or Mac, the browser you're using, your geolocation, your OS, the screen version, the screen resolution, the fonts you're using, your time zone, language settings, all of these things are called fingerprints. This is one of the ways that you can be tracked. So what the anti-detect browser does is that it's going to create a new profile for you. A new profile means that your fingerprint is going to be different. So inside of one anti-detect browser, you can have different profiles. Different profiles that's going to mean that you're going to create an isolated time zone, an isolated browser version, the fonts, every single thing that's about the person that is using that browser currently. So I'm just going to explain three types of anti-detect browsers that we have. We have so many, but these are the three I use the most. Number one is Ads Power. Number two is More Login. And then lastly is IX browser. This is one I like the most because it allows me to create more profile for free. And this is what I'm going to be using for the tutorial. So when I get the proxy, I'm going to copy the proxy, that's the host, the IP, the password, the likes, and I'm going to show you how I use it in IX browser. Alright. I already have spent $4 in my wallet, so I'm going to go to ISP, and I'm going to I'm going to create a new order. I have one there already, but I want to buy it for France. So I'm going to click on new order. I'm going to select one proxy. It's in 30 days already, so I just need one for 30 days. I'm going to search for France and then pick my quantity 1, then add my city. City is not compulsory, but when you add the city, your price increases. So you need to know that. And also when you add the requirements, there is an extra price for it. So it's like the more specific you are about your proxy, the more expensive it's going to get. Alright. So because I have my wallets already, I have money in my wallet, it's easy for me to just buy from Royale. So I'm just going to select for my balance and I'm going to complete the order. That is how easy it is to get the proxy. If I'm using my card, I would have just used my card and my normal payment method to get the proxy. Alright, that's it. It's that easy to get a proxy. Alright. Alright, so I've gotten my proxy now. I'm going to refresh and the proxy details are here already. I have my host port username and password. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to take it to my IX browser. So for France, I'm going to be using for France currently. So I'm going to move to IX browser. I'm going to create a new profile. When I create a new profile, I use blank page. It's not compulsory. Any platform you use is what is going to work when it opens up. So I'm going to go to project configuration. This is the most important part. I use HTTP and Stock5 most of the time. I forgot to change to Stock5 in Royale, so I'm changing back to Stock5 now. And I'm going to click on Stock5. If I'm using HTTP, I'm going to use HTTP. So once you put it, it's going to align everything together. And I always make sure I do my proxy detection test first before doing anything. And this is opened, so I'm going to open the browser now. So remember I said different profiles. So this is unique profile for France. And before doing anything, I'll just try to make sure that the proxy is working properly. So I use sites like war.net to check you can see that the proxy is already in France already. The browser is in French, French. It is in French, even though my laptop speaks proper English, everything is English, but you can see that this browser itself specifically is in French, and that's what Fingerprints is about. You can see it's currently showing 100%. So it's anonymous 100%, if you understand that. I also use something like ip2location.com to just make sure that it's showing that it's currently in France. Alright, so it's going to go now and we can see France. Alright, so I also use one other platform just to test run. It's not like you have to do it, but most times I just want to be sure that. Alright, so I use NodeData.io also to detect if everything is working properly. Alright, so you can see VPN, proxy, Tor, relay, everything is cancelled. That means it's not detecting it. Alright, so that's it. That's how to connect your proxy to an anti-detect browser. If you have any question, you can let me know. Alright, thank you very much. If this video has been helpful, please like it.